live radio, local podcasts, the Frederick Podcast Network at listenfrederick.com.
The Fedora Files.
Hello and welcome to the Fedora Files. I am Gregory Fedora and I am so glad you're here. This episode is brought to you by fedorasfiles.com, where you can find all my books as well as some cool t-shirts and a hat, and more things are showing up all the time. So if you want to get in on the action and get some cool merch and books, and it kind of helps support the podcast as well as the videos I do on YouTube, I'd really appreciate it. And maybe get a shirt for a friend of yours or whatever you got to do. This week, we are going to go into a folklore tale from Ohio. I grew up in Ohio in a little place called Dayton, Ohio. And I spent my formative years there. And there's a lot of cool stories and folklore and ghost stories in and around that area. One of them is called The Legend of the Oxford Light. Now, Oxford, Ohio is where the Miami University is. And Miami University was a university before Florida was even a state. So it's not Miami University of Ohio, Florida. It's Miami University of Oxford, Ohio. My mom actually went there, as well as a few of my friends. Chip Stetson, if you recall, he's been on the show. He actually went there. Now, I'm going to kind of tell you the story, and I'm going to actually tell you one of the ghost stories that are phantasm stories, or whatever you want to call it, folklore, urban legends pertaining to it. Now, the phenomenon is most frequently associated with Buckeye Road and Kerr Road. These locations are in the rural woods just outside of Oxford, Ohio, near Houston Woods State Park. Witnesses describe the light as a single bright orb, often white or yellow, sometimes maybe even reddish. And it's said to appear suddenly in the distance. It hovers, it bobs, and sometimes moves rapidly towards or away from the person who sees it, and then vanishes and it's gone. It's most often seen at night and on those roads. Now, there are two primary legends that explain the orb, or the origin of the orb of the Oxford Light. And both of them are rooted in a tragedy. The first one is known as this is probably the most common one now, but it's the motorcyclist ghost. This is the most popular version, as I said, nowadays. And the story is of a young man who was tragically killed in a motorcycle accident on the winding country roads there. And the story goes that he was decapitated in the crash. The mysterious light is said to be the single headlight of his motorcycle, as the ghost endlessly rides the road searching for his lost head. So he's kind of like a headless horseman, but he's a headless motorcyclist. The second one is called the Railroad Brakeman, and this is the older one. This one predates the motorcycle accident. There was a motorcycle accident; it kind of took over the story. But the motorcycle accident, I believe that they refer to, it happened in the 1960s. This goes back further, the older version, and this tale connects to the light to the railroad tracks that used to run through the area. In this story, the railroad brakeman was accidentally killed and again decapitated while working on the tracks one night. The light is believed to be the lantern he carried, now wielded by his ghost, as he eternally searches the old railroad bed for his missing head. Again, it's like headless people looking for his thing. Now, for decades, students from Miami University there and local residents have made late night trips to Buckeye Road in hopes of seeing the mysterious light. Many have reported seeing it, describing it as an eerie and unexplained experience. A lot of people say it's just like car headlights reflection, or you're seeing things, swamp gases, bioluminescence are kind of what they all kind of think it is. I myself, when I did live in Ohio, did make my way out to Buckeyes Road and tried to see it. I did not see it. I didn't see anything. But then again, that doesn't prove or disprove anything. It just didn't see it. And it was back in the day, when I was in high school. And so I didn't have gear back then to record. I wish I would have, because it would have been great, because I went and visited a lot of these like eerie places in and around my area. And, that was pre YouTube. Shocking. There was a time before YouTube and TikTok and all those things. And, all I had was an old VHS camcorder, but I did not think to take it with me, because I wasn't in the mindset to, we didn't even have phones that had the ability to record. Mind blown. That's how old I am. It would have taken, I would have had to ask my mom and dad, can I borrow the VHS? Because I'm going to go see if I can find a ghost. My mom and dad would be like, no, and you're not taking the car. So, that's just how my mom and dad would have been, because they're like, you're not going looking for ghosts with our car, bringing back some kind of demon into the house. What's wrong with you, Gregory? That's what they would have done. But alas, I went, saw nothing. So here is kind of a story. This is kind of a cool little ghost story that pertains to it. And I'm going to read it to you dramatically. Whoa! Cue music. The autumn air hangs heavy and cold over Buckeye Road. The trees, stripped bare by November's chill, claw at the sky so black it seems to swallow the stars. This is where you go when you're young and brave, or maybe just foolish. This is where you go to find him. They say his name was John, or maybe Michael. The name changes, but the story never does. He was young, full of life, with a ring in his pocket and his girl's name on his lips. He was flying down the very road on his motorcycle, a single beam of light cutting through the oppressive darkness of the Ohio woods. The road here is treacherous, twisting back on itself like a wounded snake. He took a curve too fast. The bike slid out from under him, a screech of metal and asphalt, and then a sickening silence. In the morning, they found the wreckage, and they found him, but not all of him. So now he rides. You kill your engine, and the silence of the wood rushes in, absolute and unnerving. You wait. You breathe. Your breath fogs the inside of the windshield. 10 minutes pass, 20. It feels like an eternity, just as you're about to give up. Convinced it's just a silly college ghost story. You see it. Far down the road, a pinprick of light appears. It's not the familiar two beams of a car. It's a single solitary orb glowing with a soft yellowish hue, like an old lantern. It hovers for a moment, unsteady, as if searching. Your heart hammers against your ribs. The light begins to move, bobbing gently as it drifts closer. It doesn't follow the pavement. It seems to float just above it, swaying side to side. Closer and closer it comes, growing in intensity until it's a blinding beacon in the pitch black night. There's no sound, no engine roar, no crunch of tires on gravel, just a silent, relentless approach of the light. It's almost upon you now, so bright you have to shield your eyes. You can feel a phantom chill sweep into your car, a cold that has nothing to do with the weather. Then, just as suddenly as it appeared, it veers off the road and vanishes into the dark woods, and you're left alone again, in a silence that feels heavier than before, with the chilling certainty that you just watched a ghost ride by, forever searching for what he lost on the dark, lonely road. That would be his head. That's what he's looking for. He's looking for his head. If only someone could find his head. They're always looking for their flipping heads. Why do people not keep it together? Someone had to find the head and put it together. But there you have it. That is the I guess it's the Legend of the Oxford Light. That is it. That was in Ohio, in Oxford, Ohio, which is about 45 to an hour southwest of Dayton, Ohio. So in about an hour and a half northwest from Cincinnati. So if you uh, and those are generalities. I could be wrong. Could be only like 45 minutes from Cincinnati. I can't remember. It's been so long since I've been there. But what do you think about that? What do you think? Those are the kind of stories I really like. Those are like urban legends, almost folklore now. And do you have any kind of stories like that in your area or in your town that you grew up on? Is there a story you'd like me to research and find more about it? I love these ghost stories. I love these urban legends of different things, not only like the monster stories, but the folklore. And this is one that it's a lesser known unless you're from Ohio and from the Dayton, Cincinnati, Oxford area, Middletown, Miamisburg area. You probably have never heard of this story, but it's a cool one. And it's one that's that, I want to keep around and keep going. Just, because they're fun. They add to the spice of life. So that is the Oxford Light of Ohio. If you have one in your state or a story or a similar like light story, I'd love to hear it. Send it my way. Or if you know of a story and you want me to find out and find a story and tell the story and help keep it alive, because that's part of what I want to do. Send me an email, tell me what to do, and I will keep those stories alive. I want to keep them going. And please go check out fedorasfiles.com, FEDORASFILES.com, fedorasfiles.com. Pick up a book, pick up a t-shirt, pick up a hat, and help keep this going and help keep these archives and keep filling up my files so that we will always have these stories, always have these legends, and always have a way to recall them. And until next time, stay safe and keep searching.